Hi, I'm Rich Lange, and I'm going to give you a video tour of the Acorn with all of our philosophy, which is pure child development. My wife, Kitty, and I started the Acorn 40 years ago. We both have master's degrees in child development, and one of the, as do almost 50% of our teachers have master's degrees also, which is something that we're real proud of. One of the things that we learned is that there's a close correlation between motor development and self-confidence. We have 20 children in most of our classes in 4 rooms, and they're divided into different interest areas. This is the motor room right here that we're in. One of the goals of the school is to promote self-confidence and good self-concept in all the children. And so there's a whole lot of research behind that. There's a lot of common sense behind it. Most of the socialization for young children and when they get to first grade occurs on the playground. And so if your child has been exposed to all the basic motor skills, running, jumping, kicking, throwing, batting a ball, bowling, miniature golf, all kinds of things of which greater athletic ability is made up, if they've been exposed to all that, they feel comfortable on the playground with whatever's going on. And so what happens is that if you don't have all of your basic motor skills in place by age 6, then no matter how much you remediate, those children that don't have them will never catch up. So preschool is the time to learn these. And so we expose them in a real fun way to all these different motor skills so that they feel comfortable when they get to school, when they go to first grade at a big school. What happens is that the children that have never been exposed to these different motor skills, they start feeling self-conscious in first grade. Children in preschool are really nice, and unless they have too many older brothers and sisters, they don't know anything about teasing or making fun of each other much. So in first grade, though, when they get with lots of children from lots of different backgrounds, kids tease each other, and they can be pretty tough on each other. So if a child doesn't feel comfortable, never batted a ball before, and they're playing baseball on the playground, what will happen is that the child that's never been exposed to batting a ball will head to the sidelines where it's safe. And so the children that have been exposed and have that skill are in the middle of everything feeling good about themselves, good self-concept. The children that have never been exposed to that skill over on the sidelines feeling a little bit rotten about themselves and feeling left out. So the gap just grows larger and larger. The children that have the skill keep plying it and getting better and better. The children that don't have the skill aren't doing it because they don't want to be laughed at and teased and made fun of as they're learning. So that's why we, in a real fun way, expose them to the different motor skills. One of the skills that I mentioned is batting. So generally speaking, what happens is if a child's going to learn to play baseball when they're young, they go out in the backyard, and usually dad throws in a bunch of pitches. One comes in up here, one comes in down there, and they swing and they miss, and they swing and they miss, and it's just not much fun for them. You have to set your child up for success in everything you do with your child. And make it fun. And so it's unrealistic as a first stage of development to coordinate a moving bat with a moving ball. So we use the old T-ball concept. We get a cone. This one has been Jackson Pollock painted. And we get a nice soft Nerf ball like this. And with a little bit of help on how to grip the bat, the kids tend to want to grip the bat backwards. With a little bit of help on how to grip it properly and how far away to stand, you know, they'll hit the cone a few times, they might swing and they miss, but pretty soon they're making contact and they're hitting line drives out there, and before you know it, they're hitting home runs up off the wall, and it's a whole nother attitude of, God, this is great, I love this, come on, Dad, let's go play baseball. And so that's what we want. You want to set them up for success so that when they have that success, they want more and more, and you can take them to a higher and higher level. So the next stage might be if you take a yarn ball, you sew a whole bunch of yarn together, and it's like this, a big blob, and you can hang it from a tree branch and then put some motion into it so that it's going back and forth, and it's always at the right height for your child to be right in the strike zone. So when they start hitting a moving object, but that moving object's always at the right level for them. And then when you want to pitch to them, then you can take a bigger Nerf ball and you can pitch it right into that sweet spot for them, and they already have experience with batting a ball, so they can come and learn to hit a pitched ball that way. balance beam over here, the very basic piece of equipment. We want children to walk across that. Some children can walk across it real quickly, very successfully. The acid test is, can you walk across it slowly? Because that's when you really show your balance. So we have them go across slowly. We have them go across sideways, backwards. They crawl across it. Sometimes we'll pretend it's a high wire act in a circus, and we'll put a shower curtain underneath it, and we'll give them a half-filled cup of water, and they go across the balance beam like the high wire with this cup of water and try not to spill it. So they do it real carefully, and that's so much fun because they think it's great that we trust them with water on a high wire. A lot of times when children come to the Acorn, they don't have very good judgment when they're 2 years old. But when they're 3, they get good judgment. And so you want to make sure that we don't pass on a lot of our fears to our children. And so if at age 2 they like to climb trees and you know that they might go flying out of that tree and hurt themselves, well, you got to be right there. But when they get to be age 3, you can be a little bit more open to them trying new things motorically. And so we get children that come in here whose parents might have been so careful or fearful that they can barely climb up to something this high or jump off of it. So anyway, by using all this different motor equipment, they gain the confidence, and they know there's not any goal to jump from any high thing or anything like that, but you just don't want them to be fearful of it. We have music often on in here. We want to expose the children to different music. We want to expose them to lots of children's music, but symphony music and jazz music and folk music, and I like to make sure that they're exposed to the real music, which is 50s and 60s rock and roll. Very important. We want them all to be able to know how to twist. So anyway, we keep it fun. Now, one of the things also, when the children first come to the Acorn as around 3 years old, they have huge vocabularies, but they don't have a whole lot of experience in using their words. And so in expressing that vocabulary. So we spend a lot of time at the beginning of the year coaching the children on how to use their words. So that rather than running up and taking that truck away from somebody because they wanted to play with it, then we would say, well, here's what you can say. Alice, will you please share that truck with me when you're done? And then we make sure Alice just plays with it for a few more minutes, and then she shares it because we share all our toys at the Acorn. So it's very important that we teach the children those words because they don't come naturally for them. So you'll often come in here and hear us using those phrases. Use your words. What can you say now? And because we have to help teach them that. But we want them to be able to put into words how they feel. So if they're mad at somebody, rather than acting out, we want them to be able to use their words and say, that makes me mad that you think that I need to take a nap now, Mom. So rather than just running and throwing a fit, they express it in their words. Another thing, you as parents can really help a whole lot. You're just with your children to have quality time. And so if you're playing with dolls or trains or something, and your child wants one that you have, most people just give it up and say, sure. But what you're doing is teaching them that when they want it, they get it. So what you could do as a parent that would really help your children in their social skills would be to say, well, I'm using that train now, Johnny, but I'll be happy to share that with you in a minute when I'm done, and then zoom it around a little bit more and say, I'm ready to share now. So you've just modeled good pro-social behavior at home. You, the parents, are the ultimate teachers of your children, of course. And so, but a lot of times you don't put the thought into it that, oh my gosh, yeah, I shouldn't just give them these things all the time because I'm teaching them something I really don't want to teach them. So anyway, that's the motor room in here, and we'll move on into this next area.